I always joke that coaches live in a state of fear. So I think, no, I think every team's good at this point. And so you're trying to get every nuance you can on every team so that your team's prepared. And then you're trying to go into the gym and work on some small things that you think you can be better at in the short term. I would say my mentality is the same. We want to go in and win a volleyball match just as Louisville wants to go in and win a volleyball match.
So it's not like a freeing sensation, I guess, knowing that the pressure of getting out of your own regional is over now and it's now yours.
Not, I mean, maybe a little bit in that like little thing of home, but do I feel like, if we go and play hard, that's great? No, like I'm still feeling the same pressure that I feel, and I hope they are too, of the expectation is to go win a volleyball match.
Kendra was just talk about what job your setter's done for you this year.
Yeah, I mean, she's been phenomenal. Again, Kendra does so much for us, not just setting. She's a great defender, a great blocker, great leader, can distribute the ball all over the place, and a great offensive threat. And we saw that, numerous times on especially Saturday night. So, she just does so much for the team. But, she'll be the first to say, passing opens that up, and her hitters will give credit to her. So they do a nice job of, it's a team sport. Everyone's doing their part.
How would you describe Kendra's energy and what she brings to the team in that aspect?
Kendra is a fierce competitor. And now that doesn't mean that, she does a pretty good job controlling it she's never someone that's biting at people or anything like that. But, she and Nora get lumped together because they came in together, and their personalities couldn't be more different in both wonderful sort of ways, and I think they equalize each other. She's the kid that in practice you have to say, Kendra, that's not a wall that we want you to run into. Not that Nora's that way, but, they're just, she hates to lose so much. But, that just means that she's going to go after everything and go for everything.
How much of the start the season?
Do you want me to have them stop that?
Of the season, do you verbalize, like, we want to win the national championship, we want to go to the Final Four? I mean, do you verbalize that? And if so, where are you at on that pecking order? I mean, did you say, yeah, we want to get through that first weekend and now we're here?
We do put some outcome-based goals up. Tampa was on our list, so, we do put those lots, but those are very secondary. What we talk about much more is the process goals of how do we become great, and, we spend a lot of time talking about that. And so those things will mean practicing hard every day, getting a good night's sleep, staying on top of academics, role acceptance. So those are the key things, I think, to have the outcome goals that you're shooting for.
Your last one there. How much of the emotion that you felt on Saturday that just kind of came pouring out the minute coach pointed to you guys, like after the review? How much of that emotion was due to the way your team has handled the constant shifting of roles, injuries, the tough stuff that you usually deal with in the fall that you actually have to deal with throughout the season? Those tough conversations. How much of the emotion was because of how the team handled that themselves?
I don't think in the moment I was thinking about any of that stuff. I think I was just really overjoyed for our players and our staff and our fans to get to do it at home for the first time.
What do you think of Louisville?
They're a great team. Yeah. They obviously have pieces all over the place. Local setter, Glock, Omaha kid. Great coaches who I consider good friends. We'll be in for a battle. It'll be fun.
How well do you know Danny? You guys go way back, and
I know Danny. Well, I knew who she was when she played at Nebraska, being from Nebraska, and then I got to know Danny when she was an assistant at Nebraska. One of her very, very best friends is also a friend of mine, so I get her updates there. And then the other big piece is the associate head coach Dan Meskey is Laurel Sanford's one of our alums. That's her husband. So we've known Dan for years, and he's a phenomenal coach. And then Todd Chamberlain I've known forever, and I love Todd. He was at Kansas, and so I'm excited to see all those guys.
does it add anything when you're going up against people you know, or do you just not think about much of all?
I think you want to beat everybody, right? So I think when I was a younger coach, it became kind of personal sometimes. I'd sometimes have trouble separating that. I think as I've matured, I've realized I can still want to beat someone really bad, but still have fondness for them in the process.
You mentioned this the other night about your kids being good teams. How fun has this ride been for you in the journey to be where you're at and to have the success?
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's been a fun year. I mean, every year is going to have ups and downs. It's never perfect. I think sometimes people on the outside thinks it's bliss all the time. It's not. Every team has challenges that they go through. But I think the nice thing with this group is a lot of them, our challenges have not been based on personality conflicts with themselves or with coaches. If people have been upset about things, we've had conversations and they've been able to move forward and be a good teammate. So, those are the fun years when you get to spend your frustrations on things that we got to get better on the court rather than team dynamics. And, you can't take those years for granted.
You've been in this position before. You've seen friends. What are some of your words of wisdom to them this week?
It'll be very similar to what we said this weekend. I mean, you got to go for it. And, we leaned into the fact that most young women at the Division I level weren't playing last weekend. We were one of 64. Now we're one of 16. So cherish it, take it in, and go for it. And, play for each other, all the things that we've talked about all year. But you're never going to be successful if you get tight. Like, you got to go for it. So hopefully we can play loose and play well.
You and the players have both mentioned shocking the world several times throughout this as coaches have gotten here. How much are you leaning? I mean, you only non-football school left in this tournament. Like, how much are you leaning into the fact that there's probably not a lot of people that are picking you to be successful this
Sure.
weekend and beyond?
I'm not good at pregame speeches. This is not my jam. I'll go and just be real with them. We'll do the same thing that we do every match, and it's kind of the way I roll. I don't think there's anything special that needs to go on. I mean, we did tell them beforehand, the Minnesota, that most people weren't picking them. And I think Brian told him that. And we wanted to tell him that just to go get it. So I mean, we may mention that, but I mean, that's not going to be that won't be a theme all week. The theme all week will be just be us. We're a good team. Be good.
Is there a challenge being that first match against another team that's not the home team and the gym? That'll be after the end.
Yeah.
Without your court. Is there a challenge about bringing your own energy with that?
Absolutely. We'll talk about our bench that way. And, the question is, can we get the ACC fans not to root for Louisville, or do they hate each other enough that the Pitt fans will root for us? I don't know. So it'll be fun. I don't know. I've had predictions both ways. I guess I could ask the Bluejay fans, if Marquette was playing here, would they be rooting for Marquette, or would they say no? So, but anyway, I think that's a real thing that we will discuss is, how are we creating energy? And we've played in plenty of gyms over the years that sometimes you have great atmosphere and sometimes you've got to create the energy. So we've had to do that before.
You talked about pregame. I want to talk about postgame against Minnesota. You came in and the girls were just dousing you with water. How was that moment like, knowing that your team backs you 110%, has the utmost respect, and you're going to take that as far as you can this season?
Well, on a practical level, I'm not a big fan of getting doused with water. And I ran away at the Big East tournament, and I told myself I would not do that this time. So I tried to lean into it. But no, it was awesome. It was a great joy. It was up there with one of my top wins as a coach that I've had. And just to do it with all of our fans and such a great group. It was a lot of fun. But it is interesting. I woke up the next day, and I was like, all right, got to move on. I kind of gave, we enjoyed it Saturday night, and now it's all about getting ready for the next round.
Can you comment on your shoes? Because I feel like you have one of the flyest shoes right now. Creighton symbol and all, those are amazing.
Yeah, we had a supporter get these shoes for our team on Friday, and they are pretty amazing. The whole thing is decked out in J stuff. Even the interior has the J logo, and they're pretty. I don't know what the right word is. Fly, cool. What's groovy? Hip. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.